Hello and welcome to the Productivity Exchange. My name is Florian and today I'll be walking you through bulk uploads in Jira. Bulk uploads in Jira are actually quite simple. There's the Create button up here, which lets you create individual Jira cards. Rather than creating an individual one, you click on the Import button at the top and then you browse for a CSV file. So it tells me here that it wants a CSV file. And if I've got a configuration file from previous attempts, I can use that. Now I'll walk through that in a moment. Now the very first thing that you'll want is an Excel spreadsheet like this one. So in this case, I just want to fill 3 parts of the particular issue. So I want to put in a summary, I want to add a description, and I want to add a label to each of those items. Just so that they're easier to find, this can be actually quite helpful in future. So the way that this works is you have a column for every field that you want to fill in, and you have a row for every item that you're wanting to import. In this case, I want to import 20 items. And the other thing to note here is that this description cell has 2 rows in it. The way to do that in Excel, by the way, is to just click Alt-Enter and you get a new row. So for example, test, and then if I type Alt-Enter, I can get another row in there like that. So coming back from that tangent, what you'll want to do is you'll want to save this file as a CSV file. So the way to do that, if you've got it saved as a .xlsx file, you want to click Save As, or if it's a fresh file, you want to click Save. Either way, you want to get to this dialog here. Now, because mine's already saved as a CSV file, I've got it coming up here as CSV UTF-8, but I can just select it from this drop down here if it's a .xlsx file, which is the default that it will try to set it to. Now this is important. You want it to be CSV UTF-8. UTF-8 is just the character encoding and it comes up in a moment. So just click the one that's closest to the top that has the UTF-8 in it and you shouldn't have any issues. Now I'll save that to my documents folder. If you've gone in through Browse here, you also get the same drop-down menu. It just looks a little bit different, but again, you've got CSV UTF-8 here. Now, once you've saved that file, in Jira, you'll want to click on Create at the top here, then Import Issues, then browse to that particular file location, select the file, and then hit Next, and then tell it what project you want to import it to. So in this case, Basic Training Classic is the one that I want to import it to. The UTF-8 encoding, that's the same as our file, so we can leave that, and we shouldn't need to change this. And unless you've changed the date format somewhere, or have a different one in your Excel file, just leave this as it is. I will then click Next, and then I can map the different fields to where they should go. So here you've got the headings from our table from Excel here. And these could really have been anything at all, but I like to make them match what they're going to map to in Jira. It just makes it easier to then sense check whether it's going to the right place or not. And then I'll call this labels. There we go. And the last one's summary. So there we are. Now the map field value tick box here, you need to be a little bit careful with. I've found in the past that if I tick these, particularly for the description field, what it'll do is it'll take multi-line things and it will turn them into a single long string, which is exactly what I don't want. I want to have those individual rows because that's the way I've set it up. If you're having trouble with your bulk imports, you may try toggling this off or on, but this will still map the correct way if I hit Next. Before you import, I strongly urge you to validate just to make sure that the data that you're pulling in doesn't have any issues. Because the last thing you want to do is find out after a bulk upload that it's actually gone wrong and there were issues throughout, and every third or some random items within your list are not actually uploaded properly. Now, I can see here that this is successful. I've found no issues, and I can just click Begin Import. This will take a short moment, and you can click Save Configuration File. That just saves all of the different mappings that we've done, which says this particular column goes to this particular field, and this column goes to this field. Again, you can save the configuration file here. If you wanted to look at the log if something went wrong, you have the option to download that there. Now, the most important link on the screen is the check created issues link here, because if I click that, it takes me to all of the items that were just imported based on this particular JQL query. Now, if there was an issue with this, I could then make bulk changes to those issues and try and amend those. So it's always good practice to click on view all the issues and just make sure that they imported correctly. So in this case, I'll just click on one of these and I can see that my title is in correctly, I've got the label in correctly, and I've got my 2-row description fields here. So that worked correctly. So now if I go to my project, I should see all of those items in here. Just note that the keys here are higher than they would otherwise be just because I did a couple of practice rounds before the video. But you can see here's an item. This is test item 1, and we've got it all here. So in summary, what you'll want is you'll want a table, which you can create in Excel, which has the fields as columns that you want to add stuff into, and then the items that you want to import as rows. Then once you've got that, you will want to save as. Make sure this says CSV UTF-8. Save that file, then come into Jira, click the blue Create button at the top here, click on Import Issues, click on Browse, find that file, open it. If you've got the configuration file that you saved before, this should automate all of the mappings that you've done previously, which is a very handy thing to do if you're going to do this multiple times. Hit Next. Then tell it what project you want it to go into. Make sure that the encoding is UTF-8 or matches whatever CSV encoding you have. In our case, UTF-8 makes it easy because that's the default. Select Next. Map all of the columns to the fields that you want to fill data into. And once you've done that, hit Next. Remember, map field value. If I tick that, you'll see what happens with that. We'll take what's in that row and remove the new line character to create just a single row of text, which you may or may not want. Then what you'll want to do is validate and then begin import. And that's how you do bulk import in Jira. You may not have the permissions to do this, in which case I would suggest reaching out to your tech support team or your systems administrator and just asking whether it's possible to get these permissions. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and share this video with somebody who might find it useful as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.